Good morning students. Today it is lecture 19 under thermal properties of matter. Hope you know already we have learnt maximum concept in this chapter. We have learnt the linear expansions, different scales, and also we have learnt calorimetry, latent heat, all these things in the earlier classes. Along with that, at different stages we have solved problems also. Now the next part in this chapter where let us learn today, the next concept in this is modes of transfer of heat. So let us learn the modes of transfer of heat. Modes of transfer of heat. So this is the next part in this chapter we come across here, where here also it's a very interesting concept where you are learning about how heat transfers. So for this I just give one example. Giving that example I will compare for heat transfer. Let me just explain you with an example. Let us say the students are sitting in the classroom in different benches. Maybe in a line they are sitting in nearly on totally 10 benches students are sitting there. Okay. So in this I just want to explain, I want to give an apple to the first bench, first boy. I am giving an apple to the first student of the first bench and I say that boy to make that apple to reach the last bench boy. I suggest him to transfer that one apple to the last bench and I give one condition to him that he should not get up from the place. He should not move from the place. He should be in the same position itself, same place as he was in the first bench. But that apple should reach the last bench, last boy. Hope you are understanding what I say. So the students should sit in the same bench. All students should be in the same position. But that apple should be transmitted to the last bench. So this is what I suggest to him. So he does the same thing. What does he do? The first boy, he takes an apple from me and he just make that apple to reach the last bench without changing its position. He sits in the same bench, he just give it to the next boy, again that next boy will send to the next boy. Like this it will be moving from one boy to another boy and finally it reaches the last boy of the last bench. So this method you observe, this is one method of the one transferring of an apple here. Okay, for this I just give a name called as the one concept called conduction. I will explain using physics concept also. Let me tell you what are these. So here, next one more suggestion I give. I say the boy, the first boy to take that apple and I suggest him to make that apple to reach the last bench. So what he does, he takes that apple and he goes to the last bench and he give it to that last boy and again he comes back to the first position itself. He comes back to the same position where he was earlier. So that is one more method. So we call it as the second method called as convection. The first apple which was in the first bench boy, I say to make that ball to reach the last boy, what he does is, he throws the apple from the first bench and to the last bench boy. So the last bench boy catches that apple. So here the one he throws the apple from first bench to the last bench boy. So what does he doing? He is throwing it. So that is one more method. We call it as radiation. So what do you understand from this means? I have said the example giving an apple and I am explaining in the concept of physics. What I want to say here under the modes of transfer of heat, we come across there are three methods. One is called as conduction, the second one convection, third one radiation. So these are the three modes. These are the three modes of transfer of heat. These are the three modes of transfer of heat. So what are these? Conduction, convection. Hope you understood these examples now. I said in the earlier first one where I suggest the boy to make that apple to reach the last boy. So he should not change his position. He has to be in the same place. I think you are following what I said. So it will reach the last boy. That is one method. Second method, what he is doing? He take that apple from me and he make that apple to reach the last bench boy, and again he comes back and sits in the first bench. So that is one more method. The third method, from the first bench he throws that apple to the last bench boy. That is one more method. So here three methods you have learned, understood here. So all these I have given an example in such a way, explain the concept of conduction, convection and radiation. Okay, now let me give one more concept now here. Let me explain one by one what is conduction. So here the method to transfer heat from one end to the other end. I am transferring the heat from one end to the other end without the actual movement of molecules. Molecules will never move from one point to another point, but energy is transported from one end to the other end. That method is called as conduction. So for this I take an example here. Let me take here this complete rod. Okay, here I am just heating here this rod at one end. Let me say this is A point, this is B point. So what happens here? I just explain this conduction process now. What I want to say here means this conduction can be explained particularly in solids. So particularly we speak this conduction method for the solid substances. So I take an example of solids. Okay, in that I take a special example. I take one rod, and that rod I am just heating at one end. I name that rod as A and B. So at A end I am heating this rod from the burner. As and when I heat it, what happens? The one solid substance, in that the molecules are there already. They are completely packed. As and when I supply the heat, these molecules gets vibrated. They just vibrate. If you supply more heat to it, what happens? It starts vibrating with larger amplitude. It starts vibrating with larger amplitude. What do you mean by amplitude? The maximum displacement of a particle in a wave is called as amplitude. This you already learned in the school days, where the one amplitude, but now I am using the word the displacement of these molecules. And these displacements will be at larger, the vibrations will be made here, due to which there is a larger amplitude. That is nothing but vibration of these molecules with larger amplitude. They start vibrating here. But these molecules will start vibrating. But these molecules which are there here in this, they will never move from one end to the other end. They will never move. Already the molecules are here. So this first molecule will never come to here. It will be in the same position. Only they start vibrating about its own position. Wherever the molecules are there, only they will be there only. But they start vibrating with larger amplitude. As and when they start vibrating, they disturb the neighboring molecules. That is, they disturb the neighboring, during vibrations, they disturb the neighboring molecules, due to which the one neighboring molecule will also starts vibrating. Because of this, the more kinetic energy of the molecules, due to which the one nearer molecule which are having lower kinetic energy, they also receive the one kinetic energy from it, due to which they start vibrating. Here again it starts vibrating. These molecules again get disturbed, they start vibrating. So the disturbance is created in it. So the disturbance creates due to which it starts vibrating with larger amplitude. They start vibrating. And hence what happens? The one heat flows. What happens? Heat flows. What is this heat? Heat is a form of energy. This is a form of energy. So energy is transmitted from one end to the other end. This energy is transmitted from one end to the other end. Transmitted to one end to the other end. One end to the other end. Is it clear? So here only energy is transmitted. Here only the energy. Please remember, only energy is transmitted. But the molecules will be at the same position. Molecules are at the same position. Are at the same position. Hope you understood now. Here molecules are at the same position, but the energy is transmitted. So this, let me compare with the previous example where I have given an apple. Apple is said to be an energy. Apple is said to be energy. The boy is said to be called as molecules. So boy will be at the same position. He will never move from his position. He will be at the same position. He only just turns back, or maybe he turns sideways to give the apple. So he starts getting vibrated. That is the one concept you come across. He starts vibrated in his position. Because of this, the disturbance has been created and he is disturbing the neighboring boy to send that one apple. That is due to which he is giving to him, sitting at the same position. So disturbance is created by the molecules with larger amplitude, due to which the one having larger kinetic energy will be moving towards the lower kinetic energy, due to which energy is transported. Nothing but energy is transmitted from one end to the other end, and this reaches the other end. This is how the conduction takes place. So hope you understood how conduction takes place. So here conduction, it is one of the method of transferring of heat. Heat transfers. This we explain by the concept of looking to water. You already know very well, water always flows from higher level to lower level. So higher level to lower level, easily water flows. There is no additional process here. Or easily it flows from the higher point to the lower point. But at the same time, looking to the water, the same procedure is followed in heat. Always heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature without any difficulty. So it flows very easily. So here, already you know, here we are heating at this position. So it is heated only at this position. But here we are not giving heat. But here heat is there, due to which here it is having higher temperature. Because of this reason, here this is at lower temperature. So heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. Easily it flows, just like water. But how much time will it take to flow? Heat flows from higher level to lower level until it attains the same equal temperature. Means both will become equal. Until it will become equal, it will be flowing. When once both end gets the same temperature, naturally it stops. So it stops flowing. At that time, it has maintained equal temperatures. So always heat flows. Heat will flow only from higher temperature to lower temperature. At what time it will be flowing? It will be flowing unless it gains equal temperature. Unless both will become equal. Unless it gains equal temperature, heat will be flowing from higher level to lower level. This is the one method you observe at the conduction process. Okay, this concept, I think you have understood what I said just now. So this is the one example you can observe. Particularly I speak about solids. That solids will conduct the one heat. Because of the conduction of heat, today I just named the word as thermal conduction. I named the word as thermal conduction. The process of transfer of heat from one end to the another end without the actual movement of molecules, but energy is transmitted. It is is called as the one thermal conduction. Hope you understood now. Without the actual movement of molecules, energy is transmitted from one end to the another end. This method is called conduction. Since I am transferring heat here, due to which it is called thermal conduction. So let me repeat once again. The process of transfer of heat. The process of transfer of heat from one end to the other end. One end to the other end. Without the actual movement of particles. Without the actual movement of particles. Nothing but molecules or atoms. Particles, but energy is transmitted. Energy is transmitted from one end to the other end. So here remember the process of transfer of heat. The process of transfer of heat from one end to the other end without the actual movement of particles. Particles may be molecules or atoms which are there in the solid substance. But energy is transmitted from one end to the other end. It is called thermal conduction. Hope you understood what I said just now. So this is the one method called as thermal conduction. In this, particularly without the actual movement of particles, this concept you should remember here. Without the actual movement of particles. Right? So this is the one concept to remember. Since it is transmitting heat from one end to the other end, we say one more point, it is a very slow process. It is a slow process. You can observe it is a slow process. So at the same time, you can also remember here it is transmitting from one end to the other end. So naturally it requires some medium. So medium is required compulsory. So it requires the one, you can say where here the one, the material medium is required compulsory. It requires material medium. It requires material medium. This is one more point that you have to remember. Under the thermal conduction, first step it is a slow process. It requires a material medium. So I said material medium. By chance you may ask the question, what happens in vacuum? Does this conduction takes place in vacuum? No, this conduction does not take place in under vacuum. It requires material medium. So this conduction, you can say conduction does not take place in vacuum. So please remember, by chance if there is a vacuum, does conduction takes place? Means no. Means what do you need to understand here? Conduction requires material medium for propagation of heat. So it requires a material medium for propagation. It is understood. So you require material medium. Okay. So these you can remember. These are the method you can observe. The always heat flows. I said. How does heat flows? Heat flows from higher level to lower level. As and when the temperature increases, naturally you can say heat flows from one end to the here. We are supplying more heat rate. Naturally temperature increases, due to which it flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. So these methods you just remember under the thermal conduction. So here just now I started conduction. Let me complete some of the concept in conduction today, and again we will let us go for the next concept, convection and radiation. So today I just complete some of the concept based on conduction. Okay, so here I said about the one what happens to the conduction of heat, how the process of heat takes place without the actual movement of particles takes place, and again in that we come across heat energy is transmitted from one end to the another end. Also we have understood it is a slow process. So it requires some time to move from one end to the other end. So we call it as it is a slow process. And it does not move in a conduction does not take place in vacuum. Compulsory it requires material moving. So these steps you have to follow, and particularly we speak in solids. This method we speak particularly in solids. Okay. Now let me go further in this chapter. Let us write the next concept here. Let me just comment here. In this conduction of heat, where I say some of the concepts here, the good conductors of heat and bad conductors of heat. Just like in electricity, I will also speak some concepts about in heat. So here, there also we speak about good conductors of electricity, bad conductors of electricity. Similarly, here also we speak about good conductors of heat and also bad conductors of heat. What do you mean by good conductors? You can say the one process in which you can say the one substance, whatever the substance you take, the substance which allows heat from one end to the other end, that the substances are called as good conductors of heat. The substances which allows heat from one end to the other end is called as good conductors of heat. Similarly, the substances which do not allow the heat from one end to the other end is called as bad conductors of heat. I think you are able to catch it now. Under good conductors, I can give the best example. All metals are good conductors of heat. Non-metals are bad conductors of heat, you can say. Very simple word you can remember. All metals are good conductors of heat. In that I can give aluminium, copper, silver, all these are good conductors of heat. Suppose if I say bad conductors, in that we come across non-metals where you can give the examples like the wood, maybe the one you can say wool, all these are the one bad conductors of heat. So you can also say nothing but they are insulators. So they will never allow the heat to flow from one end to the another end. So the substance which allows heat from one end to the another end is called as good conductors of heat. So let me write, there are two types, that is one is good conductors. Good conductors of heat. Conductors of heat. In this I can give the examples like where that is silver, copper, gold, etc. These are nothing but all metals I can say. Similarly, we have one more example, bad conductors of heat. Bad conductors of heat. What are these bad conductors? Here we say the substances which do not allow, substances which do not allow the heat to flow from one end to another end. One end to the another end are called bad conductors of heat, which do not allow. Please observe. But this good conductors of heat allows the heat to flow from one end to the another end. This is the one concept you come across in good conductors of heat. What about the bad conductors? I said the bad conductors like wood, glass, mica, etc. Many examples you can give. Nothing but wood. Examples: glass, mica, etc. So these are the some examples you come across under the bad conductors of heat. So today, just now we have learned the modes of transfer of heat. heat transfers from one end to the other end. How does it transfers? By looking to water, heat flows from one end to the other end. How? Always heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature very easily. At the same time, how much time it will flow? Until it attains equal temperature, it will be flowing. Okay, so that is one transfer of heat. In that we come across three steps. One is conduction, another is convection, the third one is radiation. In that I speak about conduction today, where I explain about the concept of heat here. In the next second year you are learning about the one electricity, then you learn about the concept of electricity. But here in this heat, I say the conduction, the process of transfer of heat from one end to the other end without the actual movement of particles are called as the one conduction. What type of conduction? Thermal conduction. What is the reason? I am transferring heat. Because of this I speak thermal conduction. But what happens here? Energy is transported. Energy is transported but not the one actual movement of particles. That concept you remember. In this we learn some of the concept like where the conduction is a slow process. It's not a quick process. It is a slow process. But as you come across the one radiation, it's a fast process. Right? Because already I learned example here. If I say the one apple to move from one bench to another bench, it takes sufficient time to reach the last bench boy. But if you throw the one apple from first bench to the last bench boy, where it is reaching very fast, so that is a fast process. But here it is a slow process. Right? But it requires medium. Without the medium it cannot transfer heat. So when I say without the medium means vacuum. In vacuum heat does not flow from one end to the other end. So these steps you remember. Now let me go further in this. Come across one more concept called as steady state. Let me say one important concept here. Steady state. First let me explain these definitions. What are they? What do you mean by steady state? Steady means constant it is. So when you allow the heat, suppose if you are supplying heat to any of the substance, solid substance, if you are allowing the heat to flow in it. So heat is supplied to any of the substance, particularly solid substance. What happens? First step, that is utilize the heat by itself. So it utilizes the heat by itself. Means when I supply some heat to the amount of heat which is supplied to the substance, first it utilizes the heat by itself. What is the second point? It starts conducting. Nothing but the heat starts now. Whenever it has been utilized, it will take the one heat, it utilizes, and second step it starts conducting. So I can say here conducted throughout, nothing but conducted through it. Conducted through it. What is the third step? Whenever it conducts, it starts radiating. So you can say the third step is radiated. So just remember, if you want to speak about the steady state, what you are doing? You are supplying some amount of heat to the substance. So heat is supplied to the substance. So that heat is utilized in three ways. First point, the first utilizes the heat by itself. It utilizes the heat by itself and supplied to the substance. So it utilizes first. What's the second point? It starts conducting throughout. Means it starts conducting throughout it. Third point. After completion of conduction, it starts radiating. So these are the three steps you can come across to explain the one steady state. So as I made you come across here, these three stages. Now what happens at a certain stage? I am saying at certain stage, what happens? Whatever the heat you are supplying to it, you are continuously supplying heat. So naturally what happens? At the certain stage, even if you supply extra amount of heat, it will never rising temperature that will never utilize. It will stop. Means the conduction, radiation, everything has been completed at a certain stage, due to which what happens, even if you are supplying extra amount of heat, that will never be utilized. It is nothing but that one. There is no change in temperature. Temperature does not change. So if you are placing thermometer in it, and if you observe continuously are supplying heat to it, so here thermometer has been inserted, you are noticing the temperature, starting as and when you increase the temperature, it rises. Continuously if you are supplying temperature, at some stage, at certain stage, there is no change in temperature in the thermometer. So if there is no change in the temperature, and that state is called as steady state. Means that substance has attained steady state. It has already attained steady. Even if you are supplying extra amount of heat, it will never take that. So due to which there is no change in temperature, and that state is called as steady state. Hope you understood what is steady state now. Now using these conditions, now let me go further in this chapter, where I want to explain some of the factors applying to any of the solid substance. So what happens? How this can be explained? When you are supplying the heat, means the quantity of heat you are supplying to it, due to which what happens and how does it depends. All these conditions are explained. With the help of that, today we learn some more very important concepts. Okay. Now let me go for the next concept here. Just let me repeat now. Let me take one example here. I take one conductor. Let me say this is the one conductor, rectangular slab you are having. Consider a rectangular block. This is the one rectangular block I am having. So here what happens? Please observe here, in this rectangular block, what you are observing, let me say this is a rectangular block of cube of the one length. Let me say the length of this cube is L. Okay. The thickness of the cube, thickness means how much thickness it is. The thickness is taken as X. Let me see the area of cross section of this cube is A. Area of cross section of the cube is A. And here at this same time I am just supplying the heat to some time interval. Let me say the time instant is T seconds. I am supplying to 10 minutes, 50 minutes, 20 minutes. Like this I am supplying heat. So let me say the time taken by the one slab to get heated is T seconds. Okay. Now, one more point, let me set one end, whichever the end you select. Let me say this is first phase. For your reference, I say this is theta 1. At this stage, it is theta 2. What do you mean by this theta 1? Theta 1 at one phase. Theta 2 exactly opposite phase. So that is theta 2. So now, let me take this is the one, the rectangular block. Hope let me say this is the one block you have. Okay, this is the one cube you have. This cube is having area of cross section A. The area of cross section means nothing but length into breadth. It is called area of cross section. Okay, now this thickness, the thickness whatever you have here, this thickness let me give the name as X. The thickness of this cube is X. Okay, let A be the area of cross section. What is the one length? Length is taken as L. At the same time, I am just giving heat to it. It takes some time interval to conduct throughout the substance. The heat required to conduct through the substance is t seconds. Okay, and remember one more point, have taken this is first phase. Whichever you require you can take, there is no problem. If I take this is first end, this first phase, exactly opposite to this is the second phase. If I say this is theta 1, this will be theta 2. By chance, if you are not interested to take this, you are ready to take, if this is theta 1 means first phase, exactly opposite is theta 2. Okay, that is also possible. Okay, one more point I want to say. By chance if you want to take this as first phase, exactly opposite is this second phase. So whichever the phase you can select, exactly opposite to that is taken as the second phase. So the first phase is taken as theta 1, second phase is taken as theta 2. Okay, so I am representing theta 1 and theta 2 are the temperatures. By chance if you want to explain in terms of T, that is T1, T2, it is also correct. Here to avoid confusion I have taken temperature in terms of theta and time in T seconds. By chance if you want to write in temp, that is the one temperature in T means you should represent by capital T. If this is capital T1, this will become capital T2. And time is represented by small t. So hope you understood what I said just now. Whichever you can be comfortable, you can take it. But if you are taking theta for temperature, T will be the time interval, small t. By chance if you are representing symbol capital T, you represent capital T by temperature. That is T1 for the first phase, T2 for the second phase. Okay. So here, now I want to explain how the one heat conducts through the substance. For this I just write factors on which heat conducts. Factors on which heat conducts. I am writing some of the points here. So what is the first point? Let me say the quantity of heat I am supplying to that substance. I am supplying the one heat to this substance. This is the substance I have selected. The quantity of heat is represented by Q. And how does it explain? The quantity of heat is directly proportional to the one area of cross section. Let me say the quantity of heat is directly proportional to the cross sectional area or area of cross section A. Directly proportional. As area increases, quantity of heat also increases. Okay. Again, second point, the quantity of heat is directly proportional to temperature difference. Means already I said first phase, second phase. So temperature, if I represent by theta 1 and theta 2, difference means theta 1 minus theta 2. How to select this? Remember, always we represent theta 1 as the hot junction, theta 2 as the cold junction. Now madam, I want to say in terms of higher temperature, theta 1 is at higher temperature, theta 2 is at lower temperature. So you have every possibility here, but always you are taking the difference, means higher temperature minus lower temperature, or maybe hot junction minus cold junction. So let me write the quantity of heat is directly proportional to theta 1 minus theta 2. So this is second point. Again, the quantity of heat I am supplying to it. I am supplying for some time interval, maybe for 10 seconds. It requires some time interval to heat the substance. Maybe I am supplying more time to heat it. So as the time elapses, quantity of heat supplied is more. So you can say again quantity of heat also depends on time. How? It is directly proportional to T. Quantity of heat is directly proportional to T. So here we are representing the one quantity of heat. Okay. Now one more point I want to say here. If I say length and breadth, I said area. If this is length and this is breadth, means area I said. Already if I say this cube is having length, breadth and height. This cube is having volume means length into breadth into height. If I say length into breadth itself is A, then it is left out as H. What is that? Height is left out. So this is length, this is breadth, means you can say this thickness is taken as the one height, or you can say thickness you can say. So that thickness you can say in terms of x. Let me say the thickness is represented by by x. At that time I say A into x. This completes nothing but volume. Hope you understood what I said just now. So this is, for example, this is the cube, length, breadth, and this is nothing but thickness. Or length, breadth, this is length, breadth, this is height. You are ready to say in these words. Okay. Now using this, now we have represented these three factors. But as I supply heat from one end to the other end, always the temperature will be larger at this position at one end. It is smaller at the other end. So naturally, as the length increases, quantity of heat decreases. Due to which I can say the next point is Q is inversely proportional to 1 by x. What is this x? X is nothing but thickness. Nothing but you can say thickness of the substance. So here, quantity of heat is directly proportional to area of cross section. Quantity of heat is directly proportional to temperature difference. Quantity of heat is directly proportional to the one time taken to reach the one to get conducted throughout the substance. And fourth one, quantity of heat is directly proportional, is inversely proportional to the length. As the length increases, quantity of heat decreases. For this, I just give one more example and I will explain using temperature gradient. You will understand much better. So these are the factors. Okay. So among these three are directly proportional, one is inversely proportional. By just equating 1, 2, 3, 4, you get equating 1, 2, 3, 4. Quantity of heat is directly proportional to A into theta 1 minus theta 2 into small t, because all these are directly proportional. And since it is inversely proportional, I have divided by x. So now you have written Q is directly proportional to A theta 1 minus theta 2 into t by x. If I remove this proportionality, then a constant arises, that is k. When you remove this proportionality, then a constant arises that represented by symbol k. A theta 1 minus theta 2 into t by x. What is this k called as? K is called proportionality constant, and also we call it as, this k is called as the one proportionality constant. Proportionality constant. Okay. At the same time, this k is called as the word called as thermal conductivity. Thermal conductivity. This proportionality constant is represented by the word thermal conductivity. So now we got the word k, when k is called as the thermal conductivity. Now using all this, I can define the one thermal conductivity. How to define this thermal conductivity? For this, we call it as, what is this k? K is called as thermal conductivity. But we say particularly, it is called as coefficient of thermal conductivity. We speak that word as particularly coefficient of thermal conductivity. So I write here where k is coefficient of thermal conductivity. Coefficient of thermal conductivity. Okay. Now to explain this, I just give the one concept here. I take all these formulas. Now I write here. What is this k? Please remember. I write it as where k is equal to q into x divided by a into theta 1 minus theta 2 into t. I write like this. What do you understand by this here? Let me take for your reference. Where q already know quantity of heat supplied, a is said to be called as area of cross section, x is said to be the thickness, and t is said to be the one time, and t1 theta 1 minus theta 2 is called as temperature difference. Now if I just say with respect to the one condition, what is it? If I say that the thickness is x is equal to 1 meter, area is equal to 1 meter square, and theta 1 minus theta 2 is equal to unit distance, and t is equal to 1 second. all this you get Q. What do you mean to say from this? Remember. Now by looking to this, you can define the one coefficient of thermal conductivity. It can be defined as the quantity of heat that flows through a conductor with unit area of cross section, with unit area of cross section, with unit time at the same time of the material with opposite phases are kept at unit distances apart. Then the coefficient of thermal conductivity is equal to the quantity of heat. How? The coefficient of thermal conductivity can be defined as the quantity of heat. You can say the one conductive material is the quantity of heat that flows per unit time, per unit area of cross section, with respect to the one temperature difference, with unit temperature difference. Then it is called as thermal conductivity. You can say it is called thermal conductivity. You can also explain this thermal conductivity by using one more concept called temperature difference. That is, the one temperature gradient. Using that also I define one more definition. Let me explain this temperature gradient in the next class, and I'll explain all these factors in it. Okay. Now, by using this you can define the one coefficient of thermal conductivity. Right? Now, one more point I want to say for this is, let me write the SI unit for this. How to write SI unit? Now, K is equal to, here quantity of heat is always expressed in joules. Heat is always expressed in joules. Distance is measured in meters, and area it is measured in meter square. Temperature difference it is measured in Kelvin, and time is measured in seconds. 1 meter gets cancelled. You get this is equal to K is equal to J. This S will come to the numerator. J is to the minus 1. M, this will come to the numerator. M to the power of minus 1. K to the power of minus 1. So this is one more SI unit. Joules per second per meter per Kelvin. Or one more step you can explain. For this you write the word watt. Watt per meter per Kelvin. How did you write this one? You know power is represented energy by time. This power can be represented by energy is expressed in, power is expressed by watts. Energy is expressed in joules. Time is expressed in seconds. So this W is equal to joules per second. You can also use this condition. You can write watt per meter per Kelvin. Similarly, you are writing the one dimensional formula for this. How to write dimensional formula? Let me show you how to write this one. For this, K is equal to m L square T raised to minus 2, because this is energy dimensional formula, into L. The distance is measured in length, and L square. And one more, the temperature is measured in, that is Kelvin, and time is measured in, that is seconds. So I write this time is expressed as T. Now this will be cancelling. This L square is getting cancelling. So you get, this is m to the power of 1. This will become L, and T to the power of, this will go to numerator. T to the power of m to the power of 1, m to the power of 1, T raised to minus 3, K to the power of minus 1. So this is the one that to write the dimensional formula for this. Hope you understood today. Now in the next class, I will use the one concept called temperature gradient. With the help of that, again we will define the one coefficient of thermal conductivity represented by symbol K. Today we have learned the concept of what is the modes of transfer of heat. In that we have learned 3 modes of transfer of heat: conduction, convection and radiation. For all the 3 I have given example, but today I have started the concept of conduction. In that we come across thermal conduction, and in that we have learned about the concept of the one how heat conducts one end to the other end. For that we call it as good conductors of heat, bad conductors of heat, along with examples. Along with that we have learned today steady state. One more point called as steady state. The next concept what we have learned, factors on which the one heat conducts, how heat conducts, quantity of heat conducts. We have learned there are 4 factors. Using the one example like Q, we have learned these are the 4 steps. Using this, we have written the expression, and finally we have arrived this expression for thermal conductivity. At the same time, we have defined thermal conductivity. Again, we have written SI unit. 2 types of SI units here. Both are the SI units here. This is one type, another is second type. What's the third one? We have learned the dimensional formula for thermal conductivity. Hope you understood what I said today. So remember all these things. In the next class, we learn some more concepts regarding the thermal conductivity using temperature gradient. Along with that, we learn some more concepts based on thermal conductivity.